Yeah. But yeah, we're good.
Quiet on the set. So talk to me. Remember when I was here and I was struggling with my toss test,
Right,
and my scholarships went away because of that.
right.
How did that make you feel? Because I never asked you that.
Well, I know basketball was a dream of yours, and I know you can pursue it unless you pass the test. So what did we do?
We studied.
You studied, but
Mhm.
you went to what?
Tutorials.
Particular teacher, what was his name?
I can't remember his name.
Patrick Ogburn.
Yeah, Patrick
Mr. Ogburn, who tutored in math.
Mm-hmm.
So he brought you up to speed in your math. Once you came up to speed and took that test a couple of times, you passed it.
That's funny. I didn't even remember that. I was just like, it was such a blur because I was just going through so much mentally. I didn't remember that, but it makes sense. And I still applied the same thing. Would you say I applied everything from basketball to me passing the test?
Well, you always was hard work, whatever you done. So you know, in order to fulfill what you was accomplishments, that you was going to have to work and work even harder to continue to go with your goal. So that's actually what you done.
Yeah.
You studied harder. You listened to me and your mom a little bit more. Because without us, what?
I wasn't gonna make it.
Exactly. So, in other words, you didn't have no out. You didn't have a choice.
I didn't.
Not when it came to us in your education.
How did you navigate playing basketball in education at a high level when y'all was so good?
Well, it actually was different. The era was different. Our thing was no pay, no play. If you didn't pass, you couldn't play. So we had not tutors, but we had something like an extra push because the coaches used to check our classroom and our grades to see if we was making the grade. Because if you didn't make the grade, you couldn't play. So once we realized we had the type of grades that we needed, then the basketball wasn't an issue.
You know, I think sometimes we say you got to be the best student athlete, and then we divide them up as you got to be a student athlete. Really, they're one person, and I feel like at a high level you can be a great athlete and be a great student because it takes the same amount of dedication on both sides of the floor. Would you agree?
I definitely agree because they coincide with each other. You can't do one without the other. In order to be better in one thing, you got to do something in both. So you like divide it and make a split, and then it ends up where it's supposed to be. And from that point on, it's like an oyster. The world is yours.
The world is yours. It's a small world.
Very. To say your last name is small in mine too, but now it has opened up. And the Lord has continued to bless you with what you're doing right now, with what's going on.
It's up.
With your reading the rapper.
You want to talk a little bit about what you think of Reading the Rapper?
Oh man, I would.
This is what I think about reading the rapper.
Well, what I think about reading the rapper is it's great because it's basically dealing with underprivileged kids, and the way they're set up today, you have to have understanding and the knowledge to when you read, you have to understand what you read. Because if you're not understanding what you read, all that does is hold you back. So once you get a full understanding of that, then everything opens up. In other words, what you read, if you read and you comprehend it, that means you got knowledge of what you're talking about and what's coming at you. If you don't have that, then you're in a bad situation.
You're in trouble.
Very.
Let me ask you a question. Was that stress to you when y'all was playing basketball? Like, how heavy did y'all read into y'all plays? Did y'all read books? Like, what did you do outside of basketball? Like, around just education and reading?
Now, in my era, it was nothing but education and playing ball.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's hand in hand.
Yeah.
If you didn't pass, you couldn't play. So that was our focus, to make sure that we passed on every class that we had. And then it led up to basketball for me. And that led me into college education.
Yeah.
All behind reading and understanding what I was reading.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful.
I'm thankful. You thankful?
Yeah, well, thank God.
That's great. So you want to talk a little bit about what it was like going to school, with dad?
Man, yes, bro. I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
I had never had a break from you. I never had a break from 9th grade to 12th grade. You was like, you coming to school with me. You didn't really ask me. You kind of just told me you coming to Hightower. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it, right? But I think it ended up being one of the best decisions I made because I was close to you and I was able to see you in your element and see other kids look up to you the way I look up to you as my dad, because you were a dad to so many other kids that didn't have dads.
Yeah.
And even yesterday when we were walking here, guess who's assistant principal? Jesse. Exactly.
What, Jess? That played basketball?
Yes, light-skinned Jesse.
Oh, wow.
Right, but
Now, you really didn't have a choice with the school thing.
how did you feel about me going here?
That way I know I can keep my eyes on you and keep you out of trouble.
Yeah.
Which never was a trouble kid, but I knew if I was close to you and you was close to me, you was gonna be your best. And the good thing about it, I knew all the teachers. You didn't have a choice, really.
Right. And he was over like surveillance. I felt like he was watching me without me knowing. And I was nervous. I'm like, he could be watching me at any point in time.
No, I wasn't watching you. I was watching other kids. I know what you was gonna do because you knew I was here. So,
Yes.
so you didn't have. You knew not to get out of bounds because it always gonna get back to me.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
That would make that experiment so good. I knew all his teachers, and if he said something he had no business, it got back to me. Then it got to him, and he didn't want that. But now the whole time we was here, never a problem. Never was a problem.
It was a great experience. Looking back now, having my dad here at really important points in my life, I think are like super important. You saw me grow up in real time. You saw me have my lows. You saw me have my highs. And you were here for every step of the way. I'm kind of getting emotional right now talking about this, but you know, it was really cool because a lot of people don't have that aspect to say, and they might go home with family problems. I was coming home with great things because you were involved, including mom and everything, and super supportive.
That was one of the reasons I wanted you here. So if you was going to be slacking on anything, I would know about it before you would know about it. Then I would know how to come at you.
Yeah.
Because I know what you wanted to do, to pursue the career that you're doing right now. And it took the education that you got here to get you to where your next step. Now look where you're at now.
Yeah.
All behind Hightower High School. And then your mother keeping our foot on you.
That's true. That's true. I give you that. I shake on it now. No, I can agree to that.
Yes, sir.
I can agree to that.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
That's great.
Okay.
The numbers that follow the photos.
Okay.
You can say that for a little.